This reminds me of what happened many years ago, and only probably Pastor Chris will understand it. So he was a man who was like you, he was like me, he was a man that had a global heart, but he was also a man who felt God's burden. You know, I believe God is burdened. He has a heart for the world and the needs of the world. He has a heart for us. And so here, Nehemiah is sharing in the heart of God. There was a man named Bob Pierce. Perhaps you heard of him. He was the founder of an organization called World Vision. And he went overseas to a country, and it was an orphanage. And he noticed these children didn't have enough food. And so he asked the lady, and he said, who organized it, and said, where's the food? And she said, well, we just don't have any. And then he noticed there was a leaking pipe, and he said, how come you don't fix the leaking pipe? He said, we have no one here that knows how to fix it. And then he went, and wherever he went in that orphanage, there were so many needs. And he just cried his heart out. And he said, God, let my heart be broken by the things that break your heart. And when he went back home to the United States and founded this organization called World Vision, which would take care of children around the world. And so, is your heart broken? Is my heart broken with the same things that break the heart of God? Nehemiah became one with that burden. And I wonder if we really become one with the burden that God has in our heart. But Nehemiah was also a man who knew what to do with that burden. Sometimes we have burdens, and then they just weigh us down, and then we can't do anything about it. But Nehemiah knew what to do with this burden. He did not become overwhelmed. He did not give up. Sometimes we say, it's too impossible. I don't know what to do. I can't handle this. No, he knew what to do. He had his heart involved. The Bible says he wept. First thing he did was he wept. Now I know as a man, you're not supposed to cry. Isn't that true? That's what we're always told. Come on, stop crying. You're a man. You know? Well, this man wept. And I tell you, when my wife was critical, I wept too, even as a man. There are times when you can't help but weep because of the gravity of the situation at hand. And so first thing happened was he put his heart to that situation. He wept. Second thing it says, he involved his physical body. The Bible said he fasted. And I know sometimes we have forced fasts or group fast, and sometimes we'll say, okay, congregation, this week we're all going to fast. That's okay. But it wasn't something that he was made to do because of the king. It wasn't something he was made to do because someone else told him he had to fast. No, he just realized this is so serious, it takes more than crying about it and weeping about it. I'm going to reach out to God and fast. So, fasting many times is based on the intensity of the circumstance. If you fast one day a year, then probably you're not in trouble as much. But if you are in a lot of trouble, guess what? You probably will fast much more often. Isn't that true? And so Nehemiah, in that time, called for a fast. And can you imagine, he didn't work in an office or have a job somewhere with a typical boss. He worked for the king. You don't just say to the king, excuse me, I got to go fast. You know? Excuse me, I got to take some time off. You know, I got to do. No, you are the cupbearer. You're the only one I trust. If you go, what will happen to me? And so it became complicated for him, but he still asked, and the king allowed him to do it. Thirdly, he was involved with his spirit. He prayed. And again, he didn't cry and fast and go crazy. He took it to the Lord in prayer. And that's what we're doing tonight, this prayer meeting. We're seeing the needs around